Okay, great. So we're reconvening meeting of the Summer Florida Selectmen. This is a special meeting. We're coming back from recess, which has been about 12, 13 minutes. Today is, again, the 21st of May, 2026, Thursday, it's now 7:14. We're in the town hall meeting. Next on the agenda under new business is Director Jeff Catlett, Land Use Services. Update.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Good evening. I was asked to give a brief land use update. I was going to talk about some general items, and then Jen will talk about more zoning specific. So I want to talk about some current initiatives, some zoning issues, and then some recent success stories. This is approximately my 90-day as land use director and 9 months overall with the town.
No excuse.
Yes. Still new.
Nice try.
Yes, thank you. I just want to initially just share this very important positive that I've been in local government for 25 years, and this is probably one of those most collaborative departments I've worked with. We're very efficient, and that's due to the hard work and the staff, dedication and hard work and professionalism of the staff. Unfortunately, the nature of our business is not everybody will be happy with our decisions that we make or our various commissions make, but we must abide by our codes and regulations. And our mission, first and foremost, is always to protect the health and safety of all residents in Summers. We're building on our already strong foundation that was in place. So, one thing that I did was I did a 30, 60, 90-day type evaluation, looking at what we already had that was positive and trying to make some improvements where necessary. I do want to say that the staff strives daily to create a very professional and unbiased work environment. We provide a very high level of customer service to our residents, and we're looking into ways to increase our already solid efforts in efficiency, flexibility, and enhance customer service. Some things that we're starting to do is explore new performance measures that kind of tell the story of what we do daily. We have a quarterly report we generate, and we're looking to enhance that to really tell what it means to, for example, to do a septic inspection, a food inspection, zoning enforcement.
Could you just share with us what some of the performance measures are? Because I think
Sure.
those are really
So we really want to
got them. It's great.
we really want to kind of, and we're in the early phases, but we really want to put into like what does it mean to do, for example, a septic inspection. So we get a plan submitted by an installer, we do the review, we do multiple inspections. So when you kind of look at that as if you're going to do a check mark, it just looks at one mark, but that particular instance takes up 6-7 hours of physical time to do those inspections. So we really want to make sure what we're putting into the system is what we're getting out of it. And if we're not, we make changes and make evaluations. We look at it as a very continuous process, evaluating, planning, assessing, and implementing. It's a constant cycle. So I think looking at what we do, how we do it, is it efficient, is it worthwhile, and if it's not, we make modifications to improve that. For example, in the past, we've in former places we kept track of everything. We looked at food inspections. We looked at time it takes to process permits. And we're very efficient here. I know we have regulatory timelines. We very rarely come close to those timelines. We're very quick, very efficient, very timely. If we get a complaint in the morning from a resident, we're normally out there in the morning or early afternoon that same day. So we're very responsive to those complaints.
Right.
And Jen will talk a little bit about our new kind of enhanced inspection tool where we're going to be documenting anything we see, and it'll allow us to, we're always very transparent, but it's even more transparency in what we're doing. The report includes, and Jen will talk about it, pictures, dates, documentation, things that we're already doing. It's just more of formalized processes and procedures. So
I guess what's been the procedure up until now, I guess, for these additional changes?
So I'll talk from the health perspective, and then I'll let Jen talk about zoning. So if I get a complaint, for example, say there's an issue with somebody's yard, they have a hoarding situation, I take that complaint in, I document.
You have some of those for sure.
Yeah, I document the complaint, the time we received it. I go out, I document my findings, either with photos or written word, and then there's always a follow-up component to that as well. Same thing with any food inspection we do. That's all documented on official form. It's all the violations are have to be followed up on. So if we go to a restaurant and we identify an issue, we don't just wait till the next time. We follow up in a timely manner to make sure that's complied with. From a zoning perspective, Jen?
What I'm saying is that just the reason I'm saying this is because you're obviously coming up with some new procedures that are improvements to what you currently have. But I just want to make sure everyone understands what we currently have is actually not a bad system. We're just trying to improve it.
Right. I can speak to that a little bit.
Okay, I just wanted to give you a little intro there.
Thank you, Tim. So when I first started, we had a complaint form that usually generally a customer would, or not a customer, a resident would come in and fill out. And that's kind of just sat there. People don't really want to come in and fill out anything. I had created early on a zoning enforcement policy with Attorney Landolina. It was about a page and a half. Given the recent years and a lot of things that have been going on, I have started a spreadsheet of complaints and actions, whether it's a violation notice, cease and desist, citation, and that sort of thing, which I've shared with Jeff. Over the winter, after we engaged with Attorney Mike Ziska and I have created a more elaborate zoning enforcement policy, which is now 4 pages, and I believe
this is a more specialized attorney whose particular specialty is land use.
Land use. He's very well versed in land use. So he helped me refine and spell out, what's extreme, what's not extreme, and I'm ad-libbing. I'm not going to read the 4 pages, and then certain, what factors would necessitate certain action. So that we did that over the winter, and so we have an official, new policy now. It hasn't been formally presented to the Planning and Zoning Commission, but as we were doing this, we were hopefully joining the Planning and Zoning Commission. So, at some point it would be under my staff report to the Planning and Zoning Commission. They're aware that this is how I handle things. Because ultimately, if someone has a concern with how I enforce it, the Planning and Zoning Commission would direct me to do the same or do otherwise, per our charter. And then secondly, so to be more specific when people are inquiring about action steps, it was actually simultaneous. I think Bill came across a complaint form that is generally used by someone filing a complaint, but staff would fill it in. I had actually done during my I am on the certification committee for Casio, and we have to review the case studies, and they have to give us exhibits. And I found when I pull it aside to go over with Jeff, and I really liked how it was. You'll see the form. So I combined the 2 forms, and this will allow an activity log. So generally, I do put it on my Outlook calendar when I speak to someone. But this is just more of a written form that they can see that, I received the complaint on May 1st. On May 2nd, I did a site visit. On, May 5th, I, called the resident, or depending.
A log of events.
A log. And so someone could look at my enforcement policy that we've elaborated on and look at a form. I mean, we have to discuss the logistics about, when they're filling it out. I can fill it out for everything, but if they say my neighbor hasn't cut the lawn, well, I will send them a letter or call them and cut your lawn. And if they cut it, it'd be 2 lines saying, okay, they cut the lawn. But for the more egregious violations, this will help consolidate the timeline in one place.
Excellent.
Very good. Thank you.
And I think that covered, one last thing that I wanted to cover under zoning. I have successfully gotten approved by the Zoning Board of Appeals, a document that's called Zoning Board of Appeals Rules, which in doing this, they have voted to approve reducing the appeals period from 30 days down to 15 days. So if I issue a cease and desist, it needs to appeal to the ZBA within 15 days of notice rather than 30 days, which means if they don't appeal it, then I can issue a citation on day 16.
So how does that get adopted?
It already is.
Okay, voted on that.
We created it. It was a little back and forth. We created a draft, a summary with Mike Ziska, and they looked at it, and we compiled a draft, and they approved it 2 months ago, a month ago.
Great.
Very good.
No, I appreciate the work. I appreciate the updates. I mean, I'm grateful for the work that's been done. I think it's kind of work we've been doing across town. I know we've had discussions like with our public work directors and other departments. I mean, Summers, like many small towns in Connecticut, a lot of things were done through handshakes. A lot of things were done verbally. A lot of things were done never written down. I mean, I think as a town we're kind of past that. And, I think in today's day and age, things, need to be formally documented. And I think this is a good step forward. We hear in my background, obviously in police, was a lot of the, legitimacy and procedural justice, and that was a lot of like the terms being used with the police. And I think there's application here too, just making sure people understand the process. It's, fair, consistent process for everybody, and it's documented, and then we move forward.
And if you have a chance to read the enforcement policy that Mike helped me create, it depends on what the complaint is. Again, to reiterate an example, if someone hasn't cut their lawn and someone, calls me, I'll reach out. If it's someone's doing blasting, we have to actually issue a stop work order. So there's a difference, rather than send right out. He never recommends sending out a notice of violation because I had previously been doing that, and the people get upset. Well, I've got a rooster. I didn't know I couldn't have a rooster. And here they're getting this letter, and then you're targeting me. And there's so many different variables.
Exactly. There's a magnitude of violation, just like with health inspections. I mean, one employee is not wearing a hairnet versus you have, food that's out uncovered and not temperature monitored for hours. I mean, there's different acuity, where, one hair falls into a meal versus...
Right, do you shut down the
100 people get sick.
A rat runs across your plate.
Yeah, exactly. So, but it's the same idea. So now, I guess my question, and I'm glad that Attorney Ziska was able to help. As far as the policy, and the first selectman probably would know, the policy would be issued by the Board of Selectmen or by ZBA, because the zoning enforcement.
Not ZBA.
Well, but zoning enforcement falls under the executive authority of the town, right?
Well, so in the charter, it charges the Planning and Zoning Commission with zoning enforcement, appointing someone to be the zoning enforcement officer. So this is, I can get his opinion on how to go about it. I feel that it's same as it's an interoffice policy. It's not any codified thing.
Not formalized.
It's not in the code. It's not in our zoning regulations. And actually, the ZBA does not have charge over that. They have charge over an appeal of my decision. Right. So it's more the Planning and Zoning Commission. Do they agree with this method of enforcement? And with certain things, it would go before the Planning and Zoning sometimes. Like I would, on a staff report, well, this is what I'm doing. Do you agree with it?
I'm just trying to understand legally, I guess, the oversight of zoning enforcement, if it falls under the Board of Selectmen and the Executive Authority, with the first selectman, or planning and zoning. I guess I don't know.
It's pretty much planning and zoning, as far as I understand.
I think it's planning and zoning, and if the board disagrees with something that planning and zoning is doing, then, that's, you're like
but
the
they set the
highest level.
regulations about what zoning is allowed, but the enforcement of it, they don't oversee day-to-day operations of the town. That's an executive authority. So, but I don't know. It's a specialized area of law.
That's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we should clarify, because the question would be, who would actually endorse and issue this policy? Is it the Board of Selectmen, or is it planning and zoning?
Planning and zoning. Yeah.
Typically, though, enforcement, I mean, it's like, think of a police officer, right? You know, police officer falls under the governor or under the mayor, and then there's a legislative body that writes the laws, and there's a court that.
Yep.
So
I can ask
I'm
Attorney
not
Ziska.
sure who holds which
Yeah,
role.
we'll come back with an explanation for that.
Yeah, we'll clarify.
Attorney Ziska.
I would
You'll know. Yeah.
I would recommend putting the complaint form online as well as a document that people can fill online and submit, and then that way.
We do
there's
have
a di-
online complaint.
Okay, I was gonna say, that way there's a digital copy of this form.
Well, it's not going to be a
lands in
digital
your-
copy because I'm going to be filling it out as I go along.
So what if someone
Wait,
comes
but
in and wants to complain?
If somebody wanted to complain this whole top half, they
Yeah.
could go on the website, put in their address, or the address of the complaint, you would receive it in an email, and then your action log would be your notes, so then that way there's no, I wrote the wrong address, or, something of that nature, or somebody says, where's my complaint, and it just, never got filed. We would always have a digital record from the website of it. It's simple to do online.
What do you do if someone wants to complain but doesn't want to put it all in writing? In other words, they just.
That's where I would
Has
fill
to
out
be in
this
writing.
form.
It's not a
Yeah.
formal complaint if it's not in writing.
That's
You
not true.
But my point is, they may put something in writing, but
can't
they may,
enforce somebody's conversation.
they may
If
supplement
somebody
it with
calls me and has a
additional-
complaint, like these are like semantics of zoning enforcement, that's what I'm saying, there's so many different variables. If someone calls me and tells me that their neighbor is constructing an 800 square foot garage and they don't want to use their name because of retaliation from the neighbor,
Right.
I can't not enforce it.
Right,
They
that's
don't
not-
have to give me their name.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that if somebody called you and complained, and then 3 weeks later they said, well, I called and complained about that, and did you put it in writing? No. Maybe you remembered. Maybe I mean,
That's why I'm
there's
asking.
it leaves a gray area. If it's
Yeah, but I
always
can't
in
avoid
writing,
that.
there's
I mean, if
black
they-
and white is always true. There's no gray.
I write down every phone call and complaint on a pad. So
I'm just
So I think we should have like a log, so if someone sent an FOI in, or if say the commission wanted to know, hey, what complaints have we had on this file, we should have it readily available to say, listen,
Right, I
there's
write it
been,
down.
100 complaints, but I'm saying get an official log or file.
Right. I mean, I even have,
Should have a-
people file complaints about the cemetery. I direct them to the online form, complete the form and submit it, and then that way there's a digital record of it. I don't want to hear it over the phone. I don't care.
Yeah, I can't tell people that.
I want it in writing.
That goes on a
I can't tell people that.
You know what
I can't say that,
You know what I
Brian.
get 20 minutes later? I get an emailed copy of the complaint in writing, and then that way I have.
We typically, best practice is to take complaints in any form, so people can
Right.
file in person, over the phone, online, it's just, this is a good step. I think it's gonna be a work in progress. I think we can take it up
obviously,
again in a few weeks.
Right.
Well, and I think every department handles everything a little bit different. If you take a phone call about a cemetery complaint, it's not the same as zoning enforcement.
No, agreed,
right.
agreed. And the same with health, same with building. These are some of the most critical.
This was, an
Fire
overview.
marshal, police, zoning,
Safety and health, there you go.
health, safety.
Yeah, so we'll definitely take a look at it. It could be, a living document to see moving forward how we.
I want it to be something that's defined and endorsed, so I think it should be adopted by one of our governing boards.
Oh, definitely.
And followed going forward.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
That's the intention.
Yeah, perfect. This looks great, so appreciate you putting this together, and appreciate the update, both of you
Sure.
putting it down.
Just got a couple, real quick, I want to end it on a positive note with some recent success stories. So, again, long before I was here, we were doing business consultations. So somebody comes in, I'm looking at property A for a restaurant. So we offer to go out, building, zoning, fire, health. We go out on site with this individual so they can ask all their questions in one place. We do that either in person, by phone, we can do it virtually. It's worked out really well. A new development is going on behind Geisler's Plaza. We've been very involved with that process from the beginning to where we are now. The developer has been very pleased with our streamlined process, our efficiency, our timeliness with inspections. I've been out there 4 times already in the last 2 weeks, so.
And it's pretty complex, too, from the way I.
It is 6 buildings, 6 septic systems. It's 25 2-bedroom units total, and it has to really, it's like a game of chess. It has to move in a certain direction. So they're putting septics in, then they're doing water lines, then they're doing buildings. So it's very complex. So we've been extremely accommodating to the developer to go out when requested and when possible. And community engagement efforts, Jen and I attended the career fair at the high school a few months ago. That was very positive. I've been doing some guest talks at the library to talk about the overview of the health department and what it means to be a full-time health department now.
Did you speak at that career fair? I'm just curious.
We set up a table and we had candy.
Students came up to us and
Yeah, we had candy, so we were popular. So, but no, we trying to attract people into land use. And then again, getting out to the community with talks and all that stuff has been very, very positive. So that's all we have.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. Yeah,
Very
good job.
nice update. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Next, we have Director Rowland, Public Works Staff.
Good evening, Todd Rowland, Director of Public Works and Emergency Management. I come before you this evening to request to hire 2 candidates. We have 2 open positions in the Public Works Department. We have 2 people resign and go on to other things. Our first candidate is Samuel Corview, who grew up in Summers. He's currently living in Stafford, and he's currently a DPW maintainer in a different town. Sam is also a volunteer fire officer in Summers. He worked for us many years ago as a seasonal plow operator. He does have a commercial driver's license, and we're very excited about him joining our team. Our second candidate is Gary Billica. He resides in Enfield. He has a commercial driver's license and has significant construction experience. When we went through the process after the 2 other guys left, we received 14 applications. The applicants that didn't have CDLs were eliminated. We had 6 finalists that I interviewed with phone interviews. Of that, I eliminated 2 as not having enough experience. The highway foreman and buildings and ground and parks foreman and I interviewed the 4 remaining candidates. We eliminated 2 due to lack of relevant experience or poor responses or poor interpersonal skills. These are the 2 remaining candidates. The highway foreman and parks foreman conducted skills testing with both of these gentlemen, which includes operating equipment as well as driving one of our big trucks. Both did very well. So I come before you requesting to hire Samuel Corview and Gary Billica as full-time maintainers at a rate of pay of $27 per hour full-time. Start dates to be determined. They're still getting background checked and fingerprinted.
To be
It
determined.
says 21st on what we have.
Yeah, that was my.
Yeah, that's
Oh, yeah, no, they're still gainfully employed. They got to give their notices.
okay. So
To be determined, yeah.
All right, so-
Probably mid-June.
If we make a motion, we should request to hire Sam Corvo as a full-time maintainer with an hourly rate of $27 with a start date to be determined.
Correct.
And it would be also a request to hire
Well,
Gary.
do we do them separately?
Oh, yeah.
Why should do that? We've done that before.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, okay.
Let's do it
Do the
separately.
first one.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, so you want to...
I'll second it, yeah.
that? Okay, any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in support say aye.
Aye.
Motion
All right, make the next motion to request to hire Gary Bilka, is that correct?
Correct.
As a full-time maintainer with an hourly rate of $27 an hour and a start date of May 21st, 2026.
No,
Nope.
to be determined.
To be determined.
I'm sorry, Sager.
I thought I put me.
I'm
Oh, that's today.
sorry, I apologize.
I will second that.
They're on the parking
They
lot.
got to give their notices.
Ready to mow grass right now.
I'm so sorry.
Sorry, Kim, you screwed me up.
We could use them
Yeah,
today.
it was
but-
my fault. I, for some reason, had it on.
Yeah, but he told me and I
I'm
didn't
not
pay
taking any
attention.
share of this.
Sorry, Todd, you can throw a rock at me.
Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in support say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda is to accept the resignation of Town Attorney Carl Landolina, effective May 21st, 2026. I'd just like to say that Attorney Landolina has been the town attorney for 34 years. Well, I think he saw what I sent to him. He's built up quite a repository of records, for one thing. They're valuable for their own use, the fact they were used as legal records, but they're also valuable for town history. and I've made a request specifically to make sure he preserves those records and turns over the records that he needs to Ken Slater, his successor, that he may need to be working on.
I would hope so.
Or useful reference. But Carl's done a great job, I think, and we've been lucky to have him, and frankly, he's probably got the record for the number of years in this community in any one particular job.
Yeah, we've been blessed.
Yeah, so that's, and I understand he wants to spend more time in Florida and more time on the golf course, so I think that this fits with what he's
So that'll be part of the course.
Yeah, well, you don't get.
You got about 22 years to go, Brian.
That's out of order.
All right, well, I'll make the motion then to accept the resignation of Town Attorney Carl Landolina, effective, it's today, right?
Yes, it is. That's right.
Yeah, May 21st, 2026.
I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion?
Just thank him for his service, for as many years.
Absolutely, we've done that.
Could we, would he be willing to come back to a future meeting just to
Certainly.
be recognized?
Yeah,
If we could
and
recognize his
He
service.
also made a special. I did speak to him earlier in the week, along with Ken Ken Slater on the phone with him, and I recommended that he stay on board. We have an ethics complaint that's in process, and something that he's very familiar with, and he's very familiar with the process. So I thought it would be most efficient to have him handle that.
It's a special counsel.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay.
Very good. Okay, next is the
With the vote, right?
We need to vote.
Interrupted the flow.
hearing. No further need to discuss. All those in support of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Thank you. Next is the appointment of Ken Slater, an attorney at Halloran and Sage in Hartford, to fill a vacancy of Attorney Landolina with a term expiring 12/22/27. So we would need to reappoint him for next year. That's all that means.
Yep. Yeah. That's filling out the remainder of Carl's.
And to authorize the first selectman to sign the engagement letter.
All right, I'll happy to make the motion.
I just want to mention that, just some background, I made sure that you got it in your package, the description that Attorney Slater had put together with regards to his experience. Just mention the first sentence I'll just read right now. Ken Slater represents municipalities and private clients in litigation,
We got that.
transactional matters involving municipal law, land use, and environmental law, real estate, and civil litigation. I've known Attorney Slater for at least 5 years. I know his law firm very well, and the great thing is, and by the way, he is the managing partner at the law firm, Halloran Sage in Hartford. If he can't handle it, he has no problem at all bringing someone else in from the firm that can handle it or can handle it better. So we're going to get really good service. He's got a stable full of attorneys there, and Ken himself is an outstanding attorney, and I'm looking forward to bringing him on board as town attorney.
All right, well, I'm happy to make a motion to appoint Ken Slater of Halloran and Sage to fill the vacancy of Attorney Landolina, with a term expiring 12/22/2027, and authorize the first selectman to sign the engagement letter.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in support say aye.
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 Motion passes.
Sorry,
Thank you. Approval of the minutes of April 30th, 2026, special meeting of the Board of Selectmen.
Just have one edit.
Uh-oh, I told you.
No, and it's. No, I'm
Told
just
you
kidding.
5 seconds.
So section C, presentation by first selectman.
Yeah.
The first bullet, following the retirement of Attorney Carl Landolina, the Board of Selectmen will be appointing, it should be the Board of Selectmen, it will be recommended to the Board of Selectmen to appoint, or something like that, that.
Yeah.
So we just did it, but we shouldn't presume it in the prior.
We'll amend the
right.
language, right.
I make a motion to
Good
accept
point.
the meeting as, the minutes as amended. So we'll say now, he was appointed, we'll say it in today's minutes.
There you go. You want to second that?
I'll be happy to second.
Okay. Any further
Did we
discussion
get the minutes?
on the motion?
This should be.
All those in support say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, they're behind
We're
this.
adjourned.
Yeah, I just can't find
7:44.
I don't know. I'm just looking for them and I don't see them.
Right there.
Okay. Okay.
Aye.
Okay. Aye. Aye for me being an idiot. All right.
Okay, let me just stop.
Thanks for helping the hand.
Oh,